name is Jenna and today I'm here doing my movie and television show wrap up for the month of March 2020. In March I read, it's interesting that apparently now you can read movies. In March I watched 5 movies, 3 short films and 7 TV shows. So we are just going to get right into those. So as always we will start with the TV shows. So the first TV show that I watched this month was The Fosters season 3. This was a rewatch and I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I love season 3 of The Fosters because season 3 is where they do the Romeo and Juliet musical and we have Brandon at Idlewild in the first half of the season, and for me it's one of the stronger seasons that the show did, mainly because of that musical. It had some really great themes that were explored throughout the show and I loved everybody's storylines in this season. It's also the season where the Bradley storyline and Callie's adoption sort of finally gets wrapped up, which is awesome because that one goes on for a very, very long time. We also get to see Jesus again in this season, but in the second half, and it is with a new actor, Noah Centineo, who is amazing and is my preferred Jesus, I must admit. Jesus finally gets a storyline that doesn't just involve girls, because let's be real, almost all of his storylines in the first 2 seasons involved girls, and it got to a point where I was like, I'm done, find something new. Jude goes through some really interesting moments this season as well, and it's just all around, it's a very great time. Not always, because, you know, the characters they go through rough patches, but it's a good show. Second TV show I watched this month was season 2 of You. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed season 2 slightly more than I enjoyed season 1. I still don't think it's as good a show as everyone is making it out to be. I still think it's relatively stupid, but I did enjoy this season like slightly more. And the reason for that is this one wasn't quite as predictable as the first season. Like I did predict some major things, but not predicted to the point where within like the first 5 minutes of the first episode I knew exactly how it was all gonna end. I didn't pick this season to that T, but it was still relatively predictable. Even though we have all new characters in this season apart from Joe himself, they all still suck just as much as the season 1 characters do, and somehow I actually hate Love more than I hated Beck, which is saying something because I hated Beck a lot. She was so dumb, and Love is dumb as well, but in a very different way, and she's just annoying and psychopathic and I just want her to go away. The only character that like I really liked is kind of a strong word. There was one character that I sort of was like, yeah, you're a little bit better than the others. Still sucked. They all sucked. The show sucks. But I will probably watch season 3 because apparently that's who I am as a person. Third TV show I watched was another rewatch and that was season 1 of The 100. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. I decided to rewatch The 100 before the final season starts airing at the end of May. I think it starts airing on the 20th or something. So I don't have long to go. I really need to continue with that rewatch. But I forget until I'm watching season 1 of The 100, I forget just how good season 1 of The 100 actually is. That show is fantastic and it was at its best in that first season. There are a couple of seasons that it really stand out for different reasons, and season 1 stands out because of how simplistic everything is. It's literally just these kids on the ground trying to survive and make peace with the grounders, and the adults up in space trying to survive and get to the ground. There's nothing else going on, and that's great. Some of the continuing seasons got really convoluted and there was just a lot going on, but season 1 had something real special and everyone is such babies and it was just so much fun to go back and rewatch. The fourth TV show I watched this month was I'm Not Okay With This season 1 and I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. This was a weird show. It was a Carrie retelling, which is not something I have ever seen before. I know it was based on, I want to say, a graphic novel, which I have not read. It's based on either a comic or a graphic novel. It's something like with pictures and I have not read it, and I don't know if that was meant to be a Carrie retelling, but watching the show it's so obviously a Carrie retelling, even if it was not intentional. It's what it is. And it just felt really short because it was only 7 episodes of like varying length. One is even 20 minutes long I think, and I didn't like the characters very much and I didn't love what was going on, but it did hook me by the end of this show. Like there was something that happened right at the very end that I went, yeah, okay, I could see where they're gonna take this in a second season, but overall, if you're thinking about whether or not to watch it, would recommend to wait to see if they get a season 2 or not. If they do get a season 2, would then recommend waiting until season 2 airs. If they don't get a season 2, I honestly wouldn't bother because it's not memorable or great enough to bother. Fifth TV show that I watched this month was Avenue 5 season 1. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. This was a new comedy on HBO. It's like a darkish comedy and it has like a wicked cast. It's got Hugh Laurie as this, he's the captain, Josh Gad is in it, and it's just a weird show. It relies a surprising amount on toilet humor, which I was not expecting from a show like this, but it does, and I'm not a fan of that sort of humor. So the show definitely took me a while to really get into, and once I was able to binge it, once there were more episodes out, I did enjoy it a little bit more, but it was weird. Like, it was sort of funny in places, but not funny enough that I would consider it to be a comedy. Hugh Laurie was the best part of the show, definitely. He played his role really, really well. I don't even know how you would describe it, but it was weird. Sixth TV show that I watched this month was another rewatch, and that was The Witcher season 1. Gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Look, I have been playing The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt video game for like 50 hours now, according to the playtime in the game, and I just want to find Ciri. All I want to do, I want to find Ciri, and I want to get Yennefer and Ciri and Geralt to be together and be a really adorable family, okay? That's what I want. And I'm still 50 hours in, I'm still nowhere near that point, so I needed to rewatch the show for, you know, family time that there isn't any. But anyway, so I decided to rewatch the show, and rewatching the show now that I have played some of the video game was a really different experience for me because I actually understood half of what was going on. I understood the world building much better. I would look at a creature and be like, oh my goodness, I fought and killed one of those creatures in the game. And it was also really interesting to, in the very first episode that I was rewatching it was interesting to look at it and go, huh, they actually spell out to us within like the first 20-30 minutes of the episode. They spell it out to us that we're in 2 different time zones. Like 2 different timelines. We got Geralt and we got Ciri, and they are very far apart. And they tell us that. So everyone's like, oh, because the timelines were too confusing. No, they actually weren't. They spelled it out for us right in that first episode. So that was a little bit of an eye-opener for me to go, oh, must have missed that. Also, I figured out while watching the show that Ciri's meant to be like 12. It makes sense now why Freya said that she was not originally considered for the role of Ciri because they were looking for someone younger. And I was sort of like, but you're 18 and you look 15. Why were they looking for someone younger? And then I was listening to the dialogue and hearing them say, and they're like, yeah, it's been 12 years since Geralt made the Law of Surprise request. I went, she's 12! So that's a thing. Ciri's 12 in case you all didn't know. And now I really want to read the books to like make sure that she is actually 12, but from rewatching it was brilliant, and I still love Yennefer and Geralt, and I'm gonna stop talking about The Witcher now because half of y'all probably don't care, but if you haven't seen the show, highly recommend it because it is amazing and fantastic, and I need season 2 like right now. And then the 7th and final TV show that I watched this month was another rewatch, and that was NCIS season 1. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. So I have a very small package on Foxtel. It doesn't include the Fox Crime channel, and because of everything that's going on in the world right now, Foxtel emailed me. They're like, hey, we're upgrading your package for free until the end of May. So awesome, I'm gonna rewatch NCIS because why not? So I went all the way back to the beginning and started rewatching it from there, and it's a great show. It's really funny though to see because the show first aired in 2003, and they have some like they have some trans episode. Well, they have an episode with a trans character, and that would not fly if it aired today. Let's just put it that way. The way they treated that character and the way they went about it. So it's very eye-opening to go back to that time and to watch things like that because you sort of go, wow, that's a different time. It's not that long ago. It's what, 17 years ago, but it was a very different time back then. I am really enjoying NCIS. I do really love it. I only got up to season 6 and there are 17 seasons, so I have a lot to watch in a very short amount of time, but everything is fine. Moving on to the movies that I watched this month. The first movie that I watched was All the Bright Places. I give this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm not going to talk too much about the film because I did do do a comparison with the book, which I will leave linked in the description box below if you haven't seen it yet. But basically I thought the film was 1,000 times better than the book. I still didn't think they particularly handled the subject well fantastically, but they handled it marginally better than the book did, so it got brownie points for that. I think that the movie actually made me feel things for the characters, which is something that the book did not succeed in doing. And Elle Fanning, there's a particular scene she deserves an award for because it was brilliant. But overall, I did still think everything was a little rushed and underdeveloped, but it's better than the book, so you know, I'll give it that. The second film that I watched this month was Skyscraper. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. If you don't know this about me already, I like watching bad action movies. I really like watching bad action films that have no plot and are just stupidly predictable, but things blow up. It's like my guilty pleasure watch. I love that sort of stuff. And if Dwayne Johnson is starring in it, it makes it 1,000 times better. Obviously, this is a Dwayne Johnson starring bad action film. Within the first 10 minutes, I knew exactly how it was going to end. He says something in like the first 10 minutes of the film and I went, that is how you are going to fix all of your problems. That right there, that's how that's all gonna get fixed. And I picked up on every single plot point and nothing surprised me. But despite the predictability, if anything, the predictability was really comforting in a movie like this. You know, you're gonna watch a bad action film, you want it to be predictable because you don't want to think too much. Despite all that though, I really did like the family dynamic, and I think that in itself is why I enjoyed the film, because they made me believe that they were a family. The rest of it, not so much, but that aspect of the film I really, really believed. The third film I watched this month was a rewatch, and that was Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest. I gave this only 4 out of 5 stars. This film is brilliant, but it's too long. Like, I've been going back and rewatching the Pirates films and they're really long movies. Like, this one was 2 and a bit hours long and I'm just sitting there watching it going, but why? Why are you this long? You don't need to be. It's still a really fun movie though. I enjoy the Pirates films. I think they're great. The second one, so Dead Man's Chest, is an interesting one obviously because that's where we get introduced to Davy Jones and he's creepy to say the least, but I really like how it sets up for the third film and I love pretty much everything about it. It's a good movie. It's just too long of a film. Fourth film I watched was another rewatch, and that was Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. This was one of my favorite films when I was younger. It's British as hell, which obviously being me, I'm going to love that. It's full of fun humor. It is what my mind was like as a teenage girl and I love it, and it's still funny to go back and watch today. I haven't seen it in years and yet could still quote most of the film, so it is kind of stupid, but it's a good stupid. And then the last film that I watched this month was another rewatch, and that was Evan Almighty, and I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. Apparently I had a Noah's Ark thing going on this month because obviously I read Many Waters and now I've watched Evan Almighty. I really do enjoy the Evan Almighty film. I don't like watching it all the time obviously, but it's one of those films that every couple of years I put on and I just go, huh, this is kind of stupid, but it's kind of funny. There's not much I can really say about the film, obviously. It is just kind of a stupid movie, but it is humorous, so I enjoy it. I'm not sure why. It did make me giggle a couple of times, and I remember I was watching it while I was trying to defeat a dragon on Tomb Raider 2, so it was definitely helping with the frustration of not being able to kill that dragon. And then I watched 3 short films on Disney Plus this month. I'm still slowly making my way through all of those. So this month I watched Santa's Workshop, Toby Tortoise and the Hare, and The Golden Touch, all of which were weirder than the next, if you must know. Santa's Workshop one, I don't even remember what that one was. The Tortoise and the Hare one was actually quite funny because obviously we all know the story of the tortoise and the hare, so that was nice to see. And The Golden Touch was obviously King Midas, and that was interesting to see as well. But the Disney shorts are weird, man. Like, I'm glad I'm watching them, but it was a very different time in the 1930s, let's just say that. And there you have it. Those are the movies, television shows and short films that I watched in the month of March. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below what you watched this month because I would absolutely love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.